Hello, welcome to Rich Essence Talks. And right now I'm going to be talking about Keke Wyatt and biracials like her. If you don't know about Keke Wyatt, she is a biracial 2000s singer, R&B singer who used black women, specifically black women's support. And today, she is blaming black women for her, air quotes, oppression. When it comes to raising biracial children, let me tell you one thing. They are going to have identity issues when you raise them to be something that they're not. If they're not monoracially black, you call them black, they're going to try to look to other black people for their representation, for their acceptance. And because she does not fit the script, because both her parents are not black, she will not feel accepted. Okay? Biracial people will not feel accepted. And that is normal. Imagine a black person was raised in a foster home with white people and they taught them to identify as white. They will not feel like they belong, because they do not. Biracial people really do need their own lane because they were never like us. Okay? Even the ones who have like black features and all, they still would never like us. Biracial people, no matter how they identify in the black community and outside the black community, they have a separate set of privileges, which is why a lot of people, even black women, tend to cape for these biracial women. Okay? Even Keke, when she did those fake crying, those fake tears, them black men immediately started caping for her and everything. And then she knew that once she started pulling out the tears, it was perfect timing to drag black women into it. It's all black women's fault. It's all their fault. Yeah. She knew that was the perfect time for that. She knew she'd get away with that. Honestly, it is all about strategy. When it comes to having privilege and not having privilege and knowing how to use certain privileges, whether that's racial privilege, women privilege, like femininity privilege, it's like you always have to, it's about playing chess, honey. It's about how you will be seen in the long run. All right? Naturally, when I look at a mixed race person, I don't see them as black because they're not black. But if they identify as black, that's them. That's their personal plight. But, because they will always have those identity issues, no matter how much they try to convince themselves that they're content with themselves, that they truly embrace themselves, they will always have those issues and they know it. Okay? Now, how can this situation with Keke Wyatt that many black women are talking about, how can this benefit black women? What can black women learn from this? Because nobody is talking about that. Everyone is just like blowing everything up and this whole situation up, criticizing this, criticizing that. But no one is talking about what this means for black women. You see those fake tears immediately got her attention, right? And people refuse to believe that it's because of her skin tone and her ethnicity. It is, by the way. A lot of mixed race people, they learn it from their non-black counterpart. They learned how to be the damsel from their non-black counterpart, which is how they can execute it so nicely. You as a black woman were not taught that because typically you probably was raised by a black woman who were taught to be strong and not feminine and everything. But now you are a black woman who are working on being feminine, but you don't know how to use that kind of feminine tears, those fake tears, to get out of situations. Some situations do call for fake tears, not gonna lie. Some situations call for a whole outcry and exaggeration. Like, for example, if someone tries to take advantage of you, let's say a black man, as you as a black woman are least privileged, okay? They at least have male privilege. You don't have anything, okay? So everyone will vilify you. So how do you get out of a situation scratch free? You can outcry. What that will look like is probably if a black man is being demeaning to you, if they are talking down on you, immediately just go like, oh my God, are you serious? Why are you saying that to me? Like, are you? And if it comes to that, you can even do those little fake tears like, oh my God, are you serious right now? I can't. I can't. Now, that won't work for you. These feminine tactics won't work for you if you have not been working on your femininity. Everyone is talking about femininity this, femininity that. But when it comes to actually using these tactics in the real world, you are like, oh, this don't work for us. Don't work for dark-skinned black women. And I'm like, by the way you're speaking, I can tell why. I know why already. People can fake all they want online about leveling up and everything, but they're not truly leveling up in their life. They're not taking the steps. They're not applying what they're learning. So when they try to use tactics that are made for people who do apply what they learn to actually work on their femininity, it won't work. It won't work. Okay? Now, a lot of times, I don't agree with invalidating mixed race people's, issues, but let's be honest, a lot of their issues have nothing to do with black women. Believe it or not, they can always say black women did this and this and this and this. They always look for someone to blame. They always will look for someone to blame, even if they were annoying as hell. Even if black girls didn't want to play with them because they were annoying. Okay, they were mean probably because their black daddy taught them that they were better. Okay, of course, no one gonna play with you behind. You think you're better than me? Duh. I'm supposed to allow you to look down on me whilst being in my circle? Are you serious? I'm not doing that. A lot of these mixed race girls do be doing that, okay? Looking down on these black girls. And when these black girls are not rolling with it, oh my God, these black girls, they didn't accept me. And my biggest oppression as a child, as a mixed race child, was not being able to play with the black girls. You know what the black girls' biggest oppression when they were children? Were being called monkey. And you're like, okay, this name calling, typical bullying. No, because when it comes to colorism, it's like racism. It's systematic, okay? That's why it sticks to black women, because it's systematic. If it was just typical name calling, like calling a white person pasty, calling a light-skinned person banana, whatever. If it was just that surface right there, it wouldn't stick like that, okay? And it wouldn't have such huge effects in the black community, okay? Or any community that has issues with colorism. Because the black community is not the only one. Okay? When it comes to mixed race women's plight, they always try to blame black women. They say, black women didn't want to play with me. Neither did the white girls. But you're not complaining about the white girls. What about the white girls? The Latina girls didn't want to play with you either. So why aren't you complaining about them? Why the burden is always on the black women? Why do you place the burden on the black women? I'm being specific here. I'm not going to sit here and generalize and say, oh, black people. Because mixed race women, well, light-skinned women in general, but mixed or not, know how to use black men to their advantage. So they wouldn't really want to mess that up if they were trying to trash black women, okay? And they would prefer to trash black women than bring black men into it. So they always try to indicate that black women were their catalyst for how they feel today or whatever. Okay? Nobody else accepted you as you, whatever. So why is the burden only on black women? And black women, stop carrying these people's burdens. Stop listening to it. Because they got issues they need to work on within themselves. They got issues that their parents needed to work on within themselves. A lot of black women and white women relationships is fetishization. May not be all of it, but a lot of them are. Which is why a lot of their kids specifically turn out very issuey, you know, compared to black women and white men relationships. Compared to biracial children who have black mamas versus biracial children who have white mamas, the ones who have the most issues are the ones with the white mothers for a reason. When you're a product of fetishization, honey, you're going to have that issue. Of course, a lot of biracials are identified as black because that's what they were conditioned to identify as growing up. They may say, oh, I get treated as black because I get called the N-word. You know how many Arabs get called the N-word? How many Asians get called the N-word? Getting called the N-word does not validate you as a black person, by the way. Anyway, so like, oh, I was treated bad because, if I was so, white, then I wouldn't be treated as bad. Let me tell you one thing. You're treated as a person of color. You're treated as a person of color. And a lot of times, ones who have white counterparts, y'all feel that because y'all don't have it as easy as your white mamas, that you must have to identify as black because you go through some stuff, some racial stuff. When in reality, the racial stuff you go through is because you're a person of color and not solely white. All right? You will always have issues if you do not know your place. And that's that. And that's all I will speak on for today. Bye-bye.